hey, mambo, mambo Italiano, go, go, go. You mixed up a Siciliano, all you Calabrese do the mambo like a crazy with it.
Ciao Chicago, welcome to the show. We got a great show for you today. We've got John Lira. We went to the Fieri.
Carnival. We'll be spending the day with Mayor Silvestri and our #1 fan, Jenny.
Also, don't forget a boxer, John Lurie.
She already said that.
No, she did.
Yes, she did.
You did?
Yes. Stay
Sorry.
tuned, Ciao Chicago. We're coming back at you.
Attenzione, signori e signori, il tempo è arrivato. Alzate il volume. Questo è dedicato a tutti gli italiani. Mettete le mani in alto per DJ Jojo. Ora si balla con 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 DJ Jojo.
Hey, mambo, mambo Italiano, hey, hey, mambo, mambo Italiano, go, go, go. You mixed up a Siciliano, all you Calabrese do the mambo like a crazy with it.
We're going to talk about how last week Pasquale and Dominic went to the Old Town Carnival Festival by Fieri. Dominic, what'd you do and what'd you see?
Well, I danced, I ate, smoked some cigarettes, drank some
I didn't go
cocktails.
with you.
You weren't invited. You
Okay.
were too small. There was a height limit to get in.
All right. Gee, thank
We interviewed the president. We got some awards. DJ Jojo threw a slamming party. Well, enough of me telling you about it. Let's just take you to the footage that I have.
Okay, I'm here at Orso's at 1401 Wells Street. Am I correct?
1401.
Okay, and I'm standing here with Nikki Manarino. Nikki, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, why don't you tell everybody what you put together tonight?
This is a Carnevale event. It is based on Carnevale that is held in Italy, and we decorated for the traditional colors of Carnevale. Tonight we are serving the traditional foods of Carnevale, which the sweets were provided by Adam Buffano, who's one of our members. He's also a chef at Rosebuds and Carmine's. And we rented out the entire restaurant tonight, so we are going to have the music that's traditional for Carnevale from DJ Jojo, and we have a lot of sponsors that sponsored us tonight. We have over 100 people coming to this event.
Okay, and is this an annual thing or is this a first-time thing? Or?
This is the first time we've ever had Carnevale. Every springtime we have it's called the Spring Fling, but this year we decided we wanted to do something a little bit more traditional to the Italian culture, so that's why we chose Carnevale instead.
And how long have you been with the organization?
I've been with the organization 2 years. I've only been a VP for about 4 months, but prior to that I was in charge of the mentorship program through our educational portion of Fieri Chicago.
Are you from Chicago?
I am from Chicago. I'm from the suburbs, Addison.
She's from Addison, okay. What high school did you go to?
Addison Trail, of course.
Okay. When's the last time you've been to Italy?
The last time I was there was before I became a nurse, which was 6 years ago, but I'm going this summer in July.
And where are you from?
Mola di Bari.
Mola di Bari. Tell everybody in what province that is.
The province of Puglia, southern Italy.
Provincia di Bari. She's Baris, for all you people that are wondering over there. Okay, now you're going to do me a big favor.
Okay.
And you said you are the
Vice President of Culture.
Vice President of Culture. And how can somebody get a hold of you?
They can go through our website, which is www.fieri.org/Chicago, or they can email me directly at fierichicagoculture@hotmail.com.
Okay, now you're going to do me a big favor. You're going to say Ciao Chicago real bright and smile. Okay, ready?
Ciao Chicago.
Viva l'Italia!
Welcome back, Chicago. Here we are with Gina. She got the chance to interview John Lurie, the boxer. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, I was interviewing with him yesterday. We talked about how he began his career, his excursion, his endeavors, and how he made his dream come true. Let's look at what we talked about and what he had to say. Ciao Chicago, this is Gina from Bacemi in Elmwood Park. I'm here with John Lira. He's going to tell us about his story and his journey through the boxing adventures and how he fulfilled his dreams. And so now we're going to learn a bit more about how we can learn about our Italian culture and what we've done to further proclaim the the dreams.
Dreams. Italians have a lot of dreams. They're some of the best dreamers. Michelangelo, Marco Polo.
Raffaello.
Although Columbus might not have been Italian.
Amerigo Vespucci.
Oh, Americo. That's why we're named Americo. They didn't name it Columbus. They named it Americo.
Dream big.
He was Italian.
Absolutely. So tell us, please, how you started and became a boxer and fulfilled your dreams.
Well, it's a funny story we were talking about earlier was I really learned it from learning the game of chess because the chess master of the Boys and Girls Club I went to, which was the Union League Boys and Girls Club, in order to go in other facilities of the Boys Club, you had to learn the game of chess and know it well. Because I was a real rough and tumble young kid, the librarian who was teaching me the game associated the game of chess with boxing moves. She asked me what my interest was. I said boxing. I watched boxing on television with my father. And so she assimilated the moves to chess to boxing. Like the pawn was like a jab. The right hand was like a queen. A left hook was like a rook. And the moves and the strategies used were similar to boxing. You leave the jab out there, which is use the jab as much as possible, which is the pawn. You save the right hand, which is the queen, and bring it back really quick and finish up with a left hook. And that would be the rook or a bishop. So now, finding that fascinating, I went to other areas of the Boys Club and I seen an individual hitting with the speed bag. And it looked really great, like a rhythmic drummer, like Buddy Rich, Gene Krupa. And I asked him if I could learn. Well, they said, well, you got to learn the fundamentals of boxing first. He brought me into the ring, he stood me up, and he said, okay, you got to get in your right stance, and you got to protect your chin. Your chin is like a king. You got to protect the king in chess. He says, your right hand is the best punch. It's like the queen. You don't want to leave it out there too long. And your jab is like the pawn. I said, well, that sounds so familiar. I thought maybe he was married to the librarian who was teaching me the game of chess, and that's how I got into it.
And once you started to further pursue boxing, how old were you when you started to professionally train?
About 24 years old. I was fighting through the amateurs a number of times growing up in the inner city of Chicago around Grand and Ogden. There was neighborhoods and guys would get into scraps after baseball games. And I was a pretty good scrapper, and a police officer said to me one day, he said, you're always fighting. He said, you could get paid for this. Why don't you do it professionally? So then I pursued it more heavier, and I got into some national tournaments, and I moved to Las Vegas and Florida and different parts of the country to hone my skills as a professional, and one thing led to another. I ended up winning the United States Lightweight Championship, and we became #1 in the world.
Excellent. And you said that you were telling me earlier that you were traveling around and seeing the world while boxing. What was your favorite country to see?
All of them were great. I mean, Italy was was #1. Okay, so, I mean, the food, we got the best food, but the best wine. But I've been to France, Belgium, Portugal, Germany, Russia, Moscow, Vladimir, Russia, Africa, Israel, South American countries, Ecuador, Panama, Colombia, the islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Curacao, and everyone had their, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and each one I've gone to, I said, boy, this is the best. Oh, this is the best. Oh, this one's better. But Italy always had a little edge on them.
And your parents, if I'm not mistaken, were born in Italy.
My father was born in Italy, in Modena, is a small town outside of Modessa, in the Bologna region. And to tell you, Bologna was created in Bologna. So when they tell you you're full of Bologna, they're saying you're Italian.
And how about your mother?
Napolitan. And her family was from Naples. She was born here, but her father was not from Naples. He was an immigrant from Naples. And she met my father, and the rest is history.
Magic sparks. How about, for example, you were indicating that you live here in Chicago and you were raised here. Are you still living in Chicago?
Oh, yeah, I still live in Chicago on the North Shore, around the Sheridan Road in Diversey. And my mother lives in Elmwood Park on Grand Avenue. And she's doing great. She's like in her 80s, and she's like a Timex. She keeps on ticking,
That's excellent. Good health. That's good. Do you have any advice for the youth and the young athletes or any kind of person who's further pursuing their dreams? Do you have any advice for them, seeing as you made it?
Find something you love doing. and make a living at the thing you love doing. It's, if you find anything you love doing, as you get older, there's probably some type of profession you could use by the things that you have learned but to love to do, whether it's dance, whether it's mathematics, whether it's mischievousness. You could use the mischievousness in a positive realm, become a detective or an experimental doctor. You could use all the mischief you want. Einstein and Edison were great patzels, they would say.
Very good. Well, thank you for the interview, and we appreciate it. Ciao Chicago.
Can I make one more statement?
Absolutely.
This March 21st, don't forget to punch 51 for Frank Avila, Water Reclamation District. Either punch 51 or I'll be punching you.
Let's backtrack for a second. You indicated that you are now starting to do some lobbying and some campaigning. Tell us what you're interested in doing now after you're no longer boxing.
Well, what I've been working on vigorously is redefining the juvenile criminal justice system sentencing guidelines. And I've been trying to put together some programs to introduce them to juvenile court to make it more profitable of the time that the youth are going to be spending in incarceration to go back to rehabilitation, to teach them to become a productive member of society. And then I'm lobbying to create a pension for professional boxers and to organize and probably creating a union a little more stronger than the weak one they got in New York.
Very good. Sounds very good. So go ahead and say your closing remark again.
Back at the Frank Avila. Punch 51 this March 21st for Frank Avila, or I'll be punching you.
Thank you, John. Ciao, Chicago, and have a good evening.
When I say don't change that channel, don't change that channel. Have some respect. Ciao, Chicago. We'll be right back.
Attenzione, signori e signori, il tempo è arrivato. Alzate il volume. Questo è dedicato a tutti gli italiani. Mettete le mani in alto per DJ Jojo. Ora si parla con 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 DJ Jojo.
Hi, we're back. I like to clarify there's actually 3 Pasquales, but I'm number 1, but I wasn't there. Why wasn't I there, Dom?
Because you're not as good looking as the other one. I'm sorry.
okay.
You're a little older, a little wiser. We're just a lot funner and outgoing.
Remember
As
that,
you
Gino?
can see from more footage from Carnival.
Orsos again. I'm here with
Frank Campobasso.
Frank Capobasso. Now, Frank's been busy all day. I've seen him running around. He's sweating. He's wiping his head. He's drinking water. Frank, tell everybody a little bit of what you did today.
I'm just basically a member of Fieri. My girlfriend's a VP of Culture, so she got me working today. I helped out with the centerpieces. Here, I'm the hot glue gun artist. And
You made that yourself?
Not all of it. We went through a little process. It was like a conveyor belt. The girls put on the masks, and I put on the the glue and made the designs on them.
Ciao, Chicago. We're back here. We're going to tune you in with Dominic interviewing our biggest fan, Jenny. Apparently, she wanted to meet with the boys and see what's going on with Ciao, Chicago.
Welcome back to Ciao Chicago. I'm blessed with the opportunity to be with Jenny, our #1 fan. Jenny, how did you find Ciao?
I was flipping through the channels on Thursday, and I saw some nice-looking Italian-American men, and I was very interested in what they had to say, considering an Italian-American myself. And it's always nice to tap into your culture, your roots, and your heritage. Check the shirt. But no, it's important to me. I think in this day and age, it's really nice to remember the significance of where you come from, and just be surrounded by people who are just as enthused.
Definitely, definitely. So what's your biggest memory? Like, actually, I'll get to that. Right now, you told me you're going to Italy next summer.
Yes.
This summer.
Yep.
And you've never been there.
No, not in actual human form, but I mean, growing up, I think I was already surrounded by the atmosphere, and I was so, I admire the culture so much. But now I'm going to be going there to tutor Little Bambini in Sanremo, in Liguria area, and I just really think it'll be nice to experience it and parlo italiano with my people. Yeah, definitely. Growing up, as you were saying before, my family owned Fontana du Jour over on Grand and Narragansett, near here in Elmwood Park, and a lot of people got married there, and it was such a tradition. My fondest memories was always the cooking, all of that.
Sauce.
Absolutely, my grandma's meatballs, my nonna. I'm named after my Jenny Maselli. She was the greatest from this area, and I just want to continue that because the families just. It's easy to forget, so I think it's important, especially what the show brings, just kind of rekindling and just
Reaching out to the younger community.
absolutely.
That's what we got to bring them back.
Being informative, it's important.
Well, Jenny, thank you for your time.
Yeah,
thank you for being a fan.
Oh,
And say
I
ciao,
love
Chicago.
Ciao Chicago. Ciao.
Hi, welcome back. Dominic, you got the interview of the mayor of Elmwood Park.
Mayor of Elmwood Park.
How was he? Was he real as the people say he is, or?
You know, he's been my mayor my whole life. I didn't know that much about him, so I had a wonderful time interviewing him, and he's a great guy, and just watch what I have. I mean, that's the best I can tell you.
We're here at Ciao Chicago with the mayor of Elmwood Park, Peter Silvestri. We are located at Bacciami Pizzeria, 18 County Parkway. Peter, can I call you Peter?
Please do. Yes.
How long have you been mayor of Elmwood Park?
I was elected in 1989, so 16 years.
16 years, that's a long time.
Yes, it is.
It's, I was 5.
I was 2. I was 5 also. No, I was 32, and believe it or not, as I was mentioning earlier, there were 2 mayors younger than me in the past. So I guess in Elmwood Park they elect them young.
We like them young.
Yeah, maybe.
We grow old with them.
We grow old, yeah. I'm growing old in this job.
No, you look better than me.
No.
When you drive in Elmwood Park, you see Frosinone, Italy,
Yes,
is our sister city. How did that come about?
Well, probably about 10 years ago, Frank Grimaldi, who has since passed, was the president of the Italian American Maroons Club in town, and a friend of, always been a friend and supporter of mine, a friend of my parents. Although he did not live in Elmwood Park, he lived in Galewood, but he was always in Elmwood Park, so he was a big fan of Elmwood Park. And he thought that Elmwood Park should have a sister city in Italy. And I agreed to that. Then we had a committee get together, and they decided to pick the city of Frosinone, which is the first province or provincia outside of Rome, in the Lazio region of Italy. My family comes from near there, in a small town called Pofi. And in fact, Frank's family, the Grimaldis, came from another town not far from there. So I was never sure if they picked it because it's where my family came from or from the guy who was helping to pick a place. He's from a place called Isola Liri, which was another small town. You know, in Italy, there's many small towns.
And they all speak different, too.
Yeah, Frosinone is in the Lazio region, outside of Rome. It's on right on La Strada del Sole, which is a autostrada, or freeway, from, it's a tollway, actually, from Rome to Naples. So it's on the road from Rome to Naples. I tell people. Yeah. I know your family's Napolitan, that's why I say that.
And we don't say it that much, though.
No, why not?
Because a lot of bad talks about us.
No, there's good and bad everywhere. Except Elmwood Park. Everybody's good here.
When, at what age did you decide you wanted to be mayor of? You grew up here, right? Obviously.
We moved to Elmwood Park when I was 14, just in time to start high school at Elmwood Park High School. We had lived in Chicago before that, and in Canada before that, like many other Italian Americans or Italian immigrants. My parents moved from Italy to Canada to a place called Brantford, Ontario, which is between Windsor and Toronto.
Right.
And when I was 5, we moved to the west side of Chicago. And then 14, we moved to Elmwood Park. So I've been here a long time, and my family's still here.
That's good.
We moved here. It was kind of funny. We moved here because my dad worked for International Harvester and was being transferred to the Melrose Park facility. He had family here, so we ended up in Elmwood Park, and I'm glad we did, obviously. So it worked out well.
I know I kind of jumped from question to question.
That's all right.
When did you decide you wanted to be mayor of the town you lived in?
I'm sorry, you did ask me that.
Well, no, I kind of threw you off.
When I was a kid, we used to play as kids, and I always ended up being the president or the mayor or something like that. Another cousin was a banker, another cousin was a teacher, whatever. So I guess it started back then. But when I was in high school, people would say, "Oh, you're going to be the mayor one day. You're going to be the mayor one day." And I said, why? But I guess after high school, and I was in college, and I was elected to the school board, Elmwood Park School Board, when I was 20. And then people were starting to say, "Oh, you're going to be mayor one day. You're going to be mayor one day." But we had a longtime mayor, Elmer Conti, who was mayor from 1953 to 1985, and that's this was in the late 70s, so he was still mayor. And you kind of almost think he's going to be mayor forever.
Right.
You know.
You don't want to
People
picture
would say
anybody
that.
else.
You know, people would say that, and so then a couple of things happened. You know, in 1980. In 1988, the village was very divided. The board was very fractious. There were a lot of fighting going on, and people kept saying, "Why don't you run for mayor? Why don't you run for mayor?" And I had been on the school board for 2 terms, and I had been on the zoning board through the village for a while. After that, so I decided to run, and a lot of good people came together, and it worked.
Yeah, look at you now. Now we're also on the Cook County.
Cook County board.
Cook
Yes.
County
So
board.
I've been on that since 1994, and I represent the 9th District, which is the area from Oak Park and River Forest through Elmwood Park and River Grove and parts of Chicago, Galewood, Montclair, Hiawatha Park, and then we go further north to Norridge and Harwood Heights, all the way up to Park Ridge and Glenview and Niles, and and all the parts of Chicago in between. So it's nice. Edison Park, Millard Park.
Yes.
So I've been very blessed with that. I really have the best of 2 worlds, being local, the village and county.
Staying at home. This
Yeah.
is home. This is take care of your backyard.
Elmwood Park is truly a family type place, so I enjoy it very much.
And very, a lot of Italians have been here over the years, right? You got Little Italy on Harlem.
Italians have been in Elmwood Park almost since its founding. Like every other group, there were people who didn't want Italians here, but history tells us that the first Italians lived at Grand and Harlem, and they helped build the bungalows of Westwood. And after the war, there were more Italians that moved here from the west side of Chicago with the construction of the University of Illinois. And ultimately, even the Our Lady of the Angels fire ended up seeing a lot of Italian Americans moving here from the west side. So there's always been a presence. Italians still remain the #1 ethnic group in Elmwood Park in terms of numbers. Elmwood Park, we have a lot of ethnic groups, obviously, like every other community, but the Italians are about 1/3 of the population, so it's still the #1 group. It's always, since the 50s, it's been the most population has been Italian than any other group.
So in Elmwood Park, you can pretty much say the Italians stuck together.
The Italians have been here a long time, and we have, like I said, I got to be honest, we have a lot of other good people too.
No, yes.
Many good Polish people and Germans, Irish, Hispanics, but
it's multicultural.
It's multicultural, but there is a large Italian population, and we have people here who, my family moved here in 1971. We moved here because we had other relatives here that were here before us. We have families that have been here since the 20s.
Yes, I got family that have been here for a long time too.
Sure.
I think my grandparents spent 60 years in the same house.
Well, that's a good thing.
It's finally paid off.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier, you've been to Italy, 4 or 5 times?
Yes, I went to Italy. I've been to Italy 5 times. Once when I was 7 for 2 months, made my first communion there. First confession I ever made was at the Vatican, so that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
And then I went back with my parents, my grandparents. My parents were both from the same area, so it was easy.
Oh, that's
nice. Because all the relatives were in driving distance.
Together. That's great.
And my mother's family never left Italy, so she wanted me to get to know them. So the first time we went for 2 months, and then after that I went when I was 13, and then I went when I was 14, because when we were there, we realized that the next year would be my grandparents' 50th anniversary. So we went there, and it was a beautiful, mass at an abbey, at a monastery. It was very nice. And then I went in '83 again with my parents and my wife-to-be. And then I guess it was '97 last time I went. And in '97 we went to Bologna. It was our sister city, the county sister city.
The county sister city.
So we went there, which is very beautiful also.
I've never been there. I have to make my steps there.
I found, when I went to Bologna, and I've been to Naples, and I've been to Taranto in the south, and I haven't been to Sicily yet. I'd like to go to Sicily one day. But Italy is really a whole combination of different types of places. I mean, Italians are Italians.
Oh, yeah.
But Sicily is different from Rome, and Rome is different from Bologna. And I've never been further north, but I bet Milan and Torino, as they said all through the Olympics, is different from all the other places. That's what makes it a great place to visit.
It's multicultural inside the culture.
Right.
And
exactly.
That's beautiful.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
Before your food's ready, I gotta ask you, what's your fondest memory of? Can't even reach the chair. What's your fondest memory of growing up in an Italian household?
People don't appreciate that there's so much good about Italians. The music is certainly important. You talk about Italians, they think about, Frank Sinatra. Some people think the other stuff that we don't want to talk about. But generally, it's great to grow up Italian because there's a great love of culture. You know, art and music was always there. Italian art and music, and Italian food, of course, and soccer games. And you know, my father used to watch the soccer games on the Rai. You know,
That's my dad does
Radio
that too.
Italia, whatever. The TV, it's TV anyway. But and they still do that. And my son, who's 12, you know, Christian, is learning some of the same stuff because my parents, thank God, are still alive, and they share that with him. You know, and you know, my parents are immigrants and they've been here since the 50s, but you never really lose your Italianness, so to speak. And we've always felt it was important. I mean, the beauty of America is the multicultural.
Yes.
I mean, we have so many rich cultures here. And people should be proud of that. I mean, we should all be proud to be American. You know, that's number one. That's why we're here. I mean, everybody came here for a better life, but we should be proud of our heritage too, especially the good parts, like the music and the arts and the culture. And I thought the Olympics in Torino was wonderful.
It was
I
great.
mean, it really highlighted some really positive things in Italy. You know.
I didn't even know. I just turned on the TV one day. I was like, oh, we're in Italy this year.
Yeah,
That's great.
Torino.
Well, Peter, I don't want to take any more
Thank
of your
you very
time.
much,
I know you're a
Dominic.
busy man.
Oh,
Could
no,
just,
no, it's a
say
pleasure
Ciao
to be with
Chicago
you.
to the audience, please.
Ciao, Chicago.
Ciao Chicago, thanks for tuning in this week. You're here with Gina, Pasquale, and Dominic. Stay tuned for next week, same time, same place for a great show.
Ciao, Chicago.
Oh, hold on a minute. You guys, you know, they covered the hurricane. I seen the way you guys carried the weather. I mean, people tied themselves to a tree.
It was cold.
It was cold?
It was pretty
It was
cold.
cold.
Italians would never do that.
And
Watch.
lightning.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Ciao Chicago. We're spending the day in Elmwood Park at Bacciami Pizzeria, located at 18 Conti Parkway. Gina, it is freezing out, and now the rain is messing my hair.
Mine too. I think it's pretty cold. You're standing without a jacket. It's starting to rain, and lightning for that matter. So
One's in my eye.
we're wrapping it up. Forget it. Let's just use the first one. No way.
The first one.
Hey, mambo, mambo Italiano. Hey, hey, mambo, mambo Italiano. Go, go, go. You mixed up a Siciliano. All you Calabrese do the mambo like a crazy with a hey, mambo.